Namo Ratnatraya, my dear Dharma friends and the followers. Till yesterday, I have described Buddha nature in Vajrayana views and Vajrayana talk. As you know, Vajrayana views and Vajrayana talk started from this Swayapuni Vaishak Purnima. On the occasion of Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and Nirvana memory, this three language program in separate started from that day. One language, first language, Nepal Bhasha. That's the language of Nepal Mandal. Nepal Mandal is the place Buddha Bodhisattva where emerges. And the second language, the national language of Nepal, Republic Nepal. Then third language, in English, the international communicable language and international language, first language of the United States. So in this episode, from today, I want to talk with you human defilements. When we say the human defilements, we the human beings can read, can understand, can think, can memorize, and can describe. These are the activities can perform by the human beings. But because of his mind, because of chitta, because of his brain strumming, he can think either in good aspect or in bad aspect. When a person, he thoughts in the positive way, that is good. When he use the thought, think in the negative way, that is bad. The bad manner of human beings thinking is called defilements, So, while we say the defilements, that emerges due to man and his memory and his mind, that is also called the human nature. So, today's main subject, Vajrayana views and Vajrayana talk, is human nature on human defilements. There are two kinds of worldly passion that defile and cover over the purity of Buddha nature. The first is the passion of analysis and discussion, by which people become confused in judgment. The second is the passion of emotional experiences, because of emotions by which people's values become confused. But both are confused. One arises because of the emotional experiences, and other because of the passions for analysis. Both delusion, reasoning, and delusion of practice can be thought as a classification of all human defilements. But really there are two original worldly predicaments in their basis. The first is ignorance and the second is desire. The man's nature produces as of his ignorance or as of his desire. The delusion of reasoning are based upon the ignorance, and the delusions of practice are based upon the desire. So, due to ignorance, we can see the human nature, and another, in other way, due to his diligence of practices, it makes also it creates also the desire. So that the two sets are really one set after all, and together they are the source of all unhappiness. Either the diligence or the desire, both will create the unhappiness if we could not get that desire, if we could not understand clearly. If people are ignorant, they cannot reason correctly. The Dhamma friends and the followers, then if people are ignorant, they cannot reason correctly and safely too, as they yield to a desire of existence, grasping, clinging, and attachment to every inevitably follows. It is this constant hunger for every pleasant things seen and heard that leads people into the delusions of habit. Some people even yield to the desire for the death of the body. From these primary sources of greed, anger, foolishness, misunderstanding, resentment, jealousy, flattery, deceit, pride, contempt, liberty, selfishness have their generations and appearances. Greed arises from wrong idea of satisfaction. Anger rises from wrong ideas concerning the state of one's affairs and surroundings. Foolishness rises from the inability to judge what is correct or what is right. These three, greed, anger, and foolishness, are called the three fires of the world, which can destroy us. The fire of greed consumes those who have lost their true minds through greed. The fire of anger consumes those who have lost their true minds through anger. The fires of foolishness consumes those who have lost their true minds through their failure to hear and to heed the teachings of Buddha. These are the human nature. Because of human nature, it develops the human defilements too. Indeed, this world of burning up with its many and various fires, there are fires of greed, fires of anger, fires of foolishness, fires of infatuation, egoism, fires of disrespected, sickness and death, fires of sorrow, lamentation, suffering and agony. Everywhere these fires are raging, they not only burn the self, but also cause to suffer and lead them to wrong acts of body, speech of mind, from the wounds that are caused by these fires These issue a cause that affects and position those who approach it and lead them into evil paths. In the same way, greed rises in the face of satisfaction, anger rises in the face of dissatisfaction. Foolishness rises from the impure thoughts. The evil of greed has little impurity, but is hard to remove. The evil of anger, more and more impure but easy to remove. The evil of foolishness has much impurity and is very hard to overcome. Therefore, people should quench these fires whenever and wherever they appear by rightly judging as to what can give true satisfaction to them. By strictly controlling the mind in the face of unsatisfactory things of life, and by ever recalling Buddha's teachings of goodwill and kindness. If the mind is filled with wise and pure and unselfish thoughts, then there will be no place for worldly passion to take root. That's why we, the human beings, should get rid of from these defilements. Defilements will create because of anger, because of greediness, because of innocence. Defilements created because of innocence, we can correct it. But defilements created because of delusion and because of desire and anger, it is difficult to correct it. But when we thought we should die one day, every day at sleeping we are dying, and morning we are again reborn. We can cite it. Our death is compulsory. That's only one, the true sense of, true matter of birth and dying, death. If we can cite it that death, then the desire and delusion, everything will be clear. And because of Buddha nature and Buddha teachings, we can erase the ignorance of human beings. So, human defilements can erase because of Buddha nature in our life. My dear Dhamma friends and followers, in Vajrayana views and Vajrayana talk, in every episode, subject is going to very clarify by discussing, by talking, and by giving examples to you, my friends and followers. So, how do you feel this Vajrayana views and Vajrayana talk? Please, if you write it in comment box of YouTube or Facebook, then only I could understand. If you like it, please like, and if you think it is most useful for others too, please make sure it, and don't forget to subscribe in YouTube. Thank you very much. Bhavatu Sarva Mangalam.